Hello, welcome to ScriptWave. In our previous lecture, we discussed about numeric data types. In today's lecture, we'll be discussing the strings, which is my favorite topic. Let's get started and understand a quick agenda for the lecture today. First, we'll see an introduction for strings. Then we'll understand the key features. Then we'll create the strings. Then we'll use the code for creating the strings. That is, we'll be executing the programs. Then we'll see what is string indexing. Then we'll understand why the indexing always starts from 0, very important concept. Then we'll see a quick indexing analogy. Let's move forward and start with the introduction for strings. String is a sequence of characters used to store and manipulate text data in Python. So this is very important, the strings, because whenever you're working with larger projects, you always deal with strings. That is the reason any company, maybe you are getting hired for 10 LPA or 100 LPA, you will have the problems on strings. So make sure you understand and work on strings as much as you can. Very important concept. So what is string? It's a sequence of characters. So what is a sequence? You can say, let's take Python as a string. So this is string. String can contain letters, numbers, symbols, spaces, and everything should be enclosed within quotes. Quotes meaning, is it single quote or double quote? It's both single quote and double quote. Is it only single quote and double quote? No, it can be triple quote and 3 double quotes as well. Everything is allowed in strings, whereas we use this mostly for commenting and doc strings. We'll discuss about doc string. We already discussed about commenting in the previous lectures. The key features for strings. This is used to represent text data, very important. That is why we always learn more about strings, because most of the cases we use only text data while you are working in a real world project. The good example is Facebook. You'll have string as your comment, string as your caption for your post, string for your video as well, because that will be decrypted to form a string in the storage. String can be enclosed in single, double, triple quotes as I already discussed in the above. Strings are ordered and immutable data type. That means we cannot make any changes. Now you can ask me, let's say we define a is equal to 10. Can I say a is equal to programming? Yes, you can say, but the memory for this A and the memory for this A will be entirely different. Both are not same. Strings support indexing, slicing, and many other built-in methods for text processing. So Python is very efficient for text processing because we have a lot of operations that we can do. We will be using a lot of methods in the upcoming sections of this video and the next video. So let's start with indexing. So string indexing, a very important concept. Initially, it would be a bit confusing, but just bear with me and trust me, this is very important and this makes your life easier once you understand indexing better. String indexing allows you to access individual characters in a string using their positions. So let's take P, the position is 0, Y position is 1. By just using that positions, you can access the letter corresponding to it. How we can access? Let's say A is equal to Python, then you can just say a square bracket 2, which returns the value t, and make sure this should be a string. Python uses zero-based indexing, meaning the first characters always have index of 0. So you can see the index of 0. Python also allow negative indexing as well using this. So this is negative indexing. You'll have a minus here. Sorry for the typo. So if you want negative indexing, you can just say a of minus 4, which will return t again with a string. So this is positive indexing and negative indexing. Now let's understand why is it always start with a 0. Let's see. First, let's try to understand why indexing start with 0 with a technical term. Then we'll see a quick analogy which gives you better clarity. Okay. Now, when an array is created, array means string as well. You can be confused because in C language we call array which is inside the flower brackets. But here string is also an array which is an array of characters. The computer assigns a starting memory address called as base address. So whenever we have a string, let's say we have the Python word, we need to assign this in the memory. So this is memory. We need to start from here. Let's take we have 100 KB is already utilized. We need each letter consumes 1 KB, let's consider, or 1B, not KB. 1 byte. For storing 6 characters, how much we need? 6. So here we have P, Y, T, H, O, N. So whenever we are assigning, because of this formula, address is equal to base, that is 100, plus index. So what is index of P? That is 0. Because of its 0, which makes it easy for us to have the base address starting from here. That is why we always have indexing as 0. We have a quick analogy. It would be a bit confusing initially, but once we see the analogy, you will get better clarity. So let's move with the indexing analogy. The analogy here is, we'll think of a ruler. What is ruler? A scale is called as a ruler. So ruler, and whenever we see a ruler, it will start from 0. Why not starting from 1? Because we are measuring from 0 to 1, then it will be a 1 centimeter. Then if you want to measure 2, that will be 0 to 1, 2, 2. Even when we are counting, let's say we have few apples, very bad diagram, ignore me for it. You'll always start with 1, but initially you have 0 apples. So let's say you're putting in the basket. How many apples you have in the basket? By default, it will be 0. That means you're replacing 0 with 1, next 2, and next 3. So this is how we always make sure the indexing starts with 0. We don't do anything explicitly. Everything will be done internally in Python. It's always good to have clarity on how Python works internally so that you can be a better programmer. This is same in every language. C, Python, Java, JavaScript, everything uses zero-based indexing. So if you understand indexing in Python, you are definitely good with other languages as well, like Java and JavaScript. Let's move forward. So we have a code simulation. So instead of we reading the code, let's try to explore the code. So I'll move forward with the PyCharm. So I am in PyCharm. Now let me create one more file for this lecture. So this is 02.2 strings introduction. So I'll keep underscores. I'll just hit on save. Now you can ask me why you're not adding py. It will automatically add whenever you are selecting a Python file. So click on Python file. This will clearly mention .py. So we can create strings. We can create using many things. So let's start with single, double, triple quotes. So a is equal to Python. This is a string. How can we assure? Just say type of a. Now I'll change the configuration. Always make it as current for easy access. Always select the interpreter, apply and run. So you can say this is string. Now let's do the same for b is equal to Python. Save it and run it. Select the interpreter as this, apply and run. So you got string. Let's find the type of it as well. So type of b. Then let's see triple quotes. So C is equal to triple quotes Python. And one more important concept I missed to add while we are discussing the PPT. Triple quotes are also used whenever you are writing with paragraphs. So I am an engineer working at company. So this is paragraph. So this is also allowed in Python. So whenever you're working with strings, make sure you use easy quotes. So whenever you are working with paragraph, use triple. Normal, use double or single. Double I prefer because it creates confusion when you're working with other languages. Other languages have single quote or double quote. So use double quote as most of the languages supports. So save it. So this is the type. Now let's start with indexing. So I'll comment this out for the time being. So I'll just say creation of strings. And I'll start commenting from here, triple quotes. And done. So we have a confusion here. To avoid it, I just say hash. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's just quickly avoid this by saying we'll close this one. Okay, we have an interesting concept to learn here. So how to tackle this scenario? You can just say triple quotes. So double triple quotes. Why? Because whenever we have triple quote, it is searching for the next triple quote so that we can complete the string for commenting. Whereas here, it is trying to check for 3 double quotes, which is in the last. So that is why we are able to avoid the error. Let's move forward with indexing. So indexing. So A is equal to capital P. Let's put everything capital. Python and print A of 1. What is A of 1? Is it P or Y? It's Y because indexing starts from 0. Let's quickly run it. I'll select the interpreter as this one. Apply, run. So we got Y. What if you want to do the last one? So I'll just say a of -1. So what is -1? Let's have the interpreter, click on run, n, that is the indexing. So this is for strings, and we'll be looking at string methods and more operations in the next lecture. Thank you so much. Have a great day. See you in the next lecture.